Mopreme was good.
You, what it do?
What it do? First time on the Vlad couch.
What's happening?
Everything good, man. So let's start from the very beginning. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York, primarily South Side Jamaica, Queens. South Side, what up?
Okay. And you and Pac are brothers, but you have different parents?
We have different mothers,
Different mothers.
and my father, raised us together for the time when he was free.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were raised as brothers. We lived together as kids, and for a little while.
Okay. So since Pac was 3, you guys were in the same household? From 3 until like what age?
Like from when he was 4 to 5, I think.
Okay. So for a few years. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you guys got super close during this time?
Well, he was a shorty, so my pops got to have me for that period of time, and he was still little, but we bonded. But then I went back to stay with my mom's in Queens.
Okay. And you're older than Pac?
Yeah.
Okay.
My father, Fanny, Pac, my sister, they were in Harlem.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay. So you went to go live with your mom at one point, and at what point did you and Pac get reunited?
In the Bay Area, Old Town, what up? We reconnected in the Bay. I had just gotten out the Army, and I went to Oakland to set up my new camp on the West Coast.
Okay. Now I know Pac was living in Marin for a while. Is it during that time?
At that time, yeah.
Okay. So how old were you at the time? When you and Pac got reunited in the Bay?
I was like 20. I was like 23.
Okay. And how much time passed? From the time that you guys saw each other at that point?
It had been about 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
I mean, my pops is a revolutionary. He's a political prisoner, and he was on FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. So he was underground. When he went underground, the family scattered.
Okay. And your father is?
Dr. Mopreme Shakur.
Okay. Boom. So Pac actually took your father's last name. Is that
Basically,
correct?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Now, when you say revolutionary, what exactly was your dad involved in, and what ultimately happened to him?
My father was a man of the people. He's a healer. He's actually an acupuncture doctor.
Okay.
He went abroad to China and I think Canada to study, and came back, and he opened up a practice, but he was also heavily involved in the revolutionary movement that was going on with the Black Panthers and the BLA. And
the BLA is the
Black Liberation Army.
Okay. So was he officially a Black Panther, or he was just sort of affiliated with him?
Oh yeah. I mean, and some.
So your dad was with Afeni at the time?
Afeni, yes.
Afeni, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So he was Afeni. Afeni is a Black Panther as well. So this was
Yeah.
This was a household where both parents were heavily into the movement.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what was it like being a kid, growing up in this? I mean, were you involved in the meetings and stuff like that, sitting in on them and so forth?
Yes, and they were boring as hell as a little kid. So the good thing at those meetings and events, because a lot of women would be involved as well. Their kids would be there, and there'll be kids for us to hang out with and kick it with, children of the movement, who had what we were going through in common, the same, being raised the same way, around the same people with the same type of mindset. We had that in common. So that's what was going down.
Okay. How did Pac sort of react during that time? Same type of thing? He just thought, he'd hang out with the other kids, or did he try to get involved a little bit?
Oh, I mean, he was just as bored as me. He playing with the kids, but every once in a while, as a kid, short attention span, there might be, 10, 15 seconds, and then we off. It's like, it was too much for us to fully understand, but it sticks with you over time. You recall certain things and certain,
with both parents being in the Black Panther Party, and all the, with the COINTELPRO that was going on during the time with the arrests and everything else like that, like, what were some of the things that you witnessed at, being a kid during that time?
I witnessed a lot of protests. I was also part of, certain activities. I didn't know what it really meant, but I remember as a kid going around New York. There was these pink pieces of paper with a pig on it, and it said F the pigs. I didn't know what F meant, but I liked putting the pig up around the city. So we go around New York putting up F the pig posters. I mean, just stuff like that people don't understand.
You never got in any kind of trouble doing that?
No.
No. Cops didn't try to.
No.
I mean,
they kept us safe. It was a peaceful protest.
Sure. First of all, how are you connected with Assata Shakur?
That's my auntie.
Okay.
That's my father's comrade and sister.
Okay, is it his actual sister or just?
Well, yeah.
His blood sister is what I'm saying.
Not really, but yeah.
Okay, I understand. So, do you remember the whole situation with that Assata was involved in and the shooting and everything?
No. I just recall when a little further down the line when they started looking for my father, and they were talking about the whole story and all the connections and all that.
So after the Assata Shakur thing, that's when the police started looking for your dad?
No, I think it was a little while. It was a little while longer, a little while after that.
Okay.
And
there
was a lot of things. There was a lot of activities going on at that time, and a lot of connected incidents, and eventually, they started looking for my pops.
Okay. Now, when Assata, because the shooting happened in New Jersey, Assata was arrested and put in jail, but at one point she escaped. And I heard that she was moving around New York during this time. Did you see her at all during this time?
Me? Nah. Mm-mm.
Were you in contact with her when she left to Cuba?
No, I haven't. No,
not at all.
I haven't talked to her since I was a kid.
Okay. How do you feel about what happened with her in terms of? I believe she's like the most wanted female on the FBI's most wanted list at this point.
Really? I mean, it's all in how you look at things. And one of the phrases I like to use is perception is everything.
Sure.
Perception is everything. And now consider this is 2015, right? Law enforcement is off the motherfucking chain. They're shooting young black males in the back, in the front, hopping on the cars to shoot them while they're sitting down. So what year was that? That was that would Assata happen in late 79?
70s.
something like that. So just imagine how much worse the cops were. You know.
Yeah, before social media.
I wasn't there. I was not there. I don't know exactly what happened, but there has to be. You have to take into consideration the times, the white supremacy, the power dynamic, and you know. Sometimes you know someone you think is guilty is innocent.
Yeah. Well, it happened in 73.
73, yeah.
It happened in 73. And she was, I guess, like a hero. Because, I mean, I guess, like, people were actually hiding her out for a while. Like, the police couldn't find her. I heard they were, like, they're shutting down project buildings trying to find her and stuff like that. And they, you know, the people
that
ultimately
probably happened because they supported her position.
Yeah.
And
like
black
people,
and brown people, poor, disenfranchised people in our communities, we know the real. You know, the narrative is often led by law enforcement, and often they be motherfucking lying. Mm-hmm. So imagine if you know the truth and can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
What are you left to just continue to just take it, or you gonna do something?
Now, I think it's amazing that someone would actually risk their own freedom to protect a fugitive from justice. Because if you get caught with Assata Shakur in your house, you're probably going to do a good 10 years for aiding and abetting at that point. I mean, think that's pretty accurate?
It was a different time. And people had a stronger constitution. They were willing to go farther than it seems than people are willing to go now to fight for what's right, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, it's just messed up.
Well, I think it's actually pretty amazing that Cuba has, even though the U.S. and Cuba are ending the U.S. is ending their embargo against Cuba, but Cuba has actually refused to give up Assata Shakur back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of surprised me, because you would think that the money, you know, I mean, that potentially could mess up the bigger deal. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And yet Cuba is still saying no. You know, Assata Shakur is a political refugee in this country. We're not going to give her back to the U.S.
You got to you got to know what I mean, man. You know, that's speaks volumes. Yeah. And you have to consider the power dynamic, all the factors involved. On top of that, there's COINTELPRO that was in full swing, which, you know, doesn't get, you know, the full examination that it needs to be. My father is currently incarcerated. He got 60 years. And what he's pushing is truth and reconciliation. Truth and reconciliation, which often happen in Africa, South Africa, post-apartheid, because the pain was so deep and it was wrong on both sides, and it needed to be, that was the only way to resolve it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Both sides had to admit what's wrong and put everything on the table and move forward. That hasn't happened in this country. You know, there's a refusal to look at itself in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the problems. You want to keep ignoring it. It's like a toothache. You keep ignoring that abscess, it's going to hurt more. It's going to start stinking. You're going to get sick. Hello, here we are.
Yeah. So, at one point, the police are looking for your dad. Mm-hmm. What was he being charged with?
My father was charged with the liberation of Assata Shakur, amongst other things.
He was charged to help her break out of prison?
Yes.
Really? And how did they say that he did it?
Very skillfully, without a shot fired, without anybody getting hurt. That's what they say.
Okay.
I wasn't there. No say.
Okay. So your dad actually helped, well, allegedly.
Allegedly. That's the word. Yeah.
Allegedly helped Assata break out of prison. Once again, if that actually happened, he's actually risking his own safety for the, for the help of someone that he cares about. Which is something you just don't see a lot these days.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah. So he was eventually captured?
Yeah. He was captured in L.A.
Okay.
He was captured in L.A. in like 86.
Okay. And then the trial happened. And what was he sentenced to?
60 years.
60 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the only charge? The helping Assata escape?
He was charged with some homicides, bank robberies. They hit him with a whole bunch of charges under the RICO Act, which means they don't even have to have solid evidence. They can rely on informant, which are paid by the government, get into witness protection, and they get what they want without having to follow the rules.
Okay. And so basically they said that your dad was running a criminal organization.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. And 60 years, and he was how old during that time? 40?
Shit, he was like 30 something.
Okay, so they're more or less giving him life in prison.
Yeah, they trying to, but he's an animal. My dad's a beast.
But he's been appealing
warrior. Well, I mean, we're keeping our prayers up and staying positive, but he was sentenced 60 years without the L.
Okay.
He falls under the old terms and the old laws. And under the old laws, you only had to serve 50%.
So 30 years.
So next April, he'll be eligible to be free.
Aha. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
If that's why it's a real, it's a real tense. It's a real anxious time.
Yeah.
But I think he's done his time. He's paid his dues. He's paid his debt to society. So, as long as everything goes straight, we're good.
You talk to him a lot?
Yep.
Visit him?
Weekly. Yep.
Weekly.
We're supposed to go visit him this weekend. Yeah. Gonna see the big dog.
That's what's up. Your dad got locked up. You were in the military. You come out, and you hook up with Tupac in Oakland, the Bay Area. Where was Tupac in terms of his music career at that time when you guys, touched base again?
Pac was he was still running around with Ray Love, DJ Diz, and his rap group Strictly Dope. That was like his first rap group.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a few months before me and the family linked back up once I got to the Bay. So as soon as I got to Oakland, I started working on my music, and then I linked up with Tony, and
okay.
I recorded Feels Good. It hadn't came out yet, but
wait, you're on Feels Good? That's
yeah, man.
Well, I never put that together.
Yeah,
Hold
man.
on. No, but you weren't. Wait, Mercedes the Mellow.
Yeah.
I thought. Wait.
No one knew that Pac and I was brothers, though.
Okay. Well, but you weren't calling yourself Mopreme. You were calling yourself
Mercedes. Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my pass. You know what I mean? That's my pass.
Right.
Because I was in the Bay. I was in high school at the time when that song came out. I remember I had the CD and everything. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you hook up with Tony.
Yeah, I'm the first one in the family with a hit record on a hit record. And so, but Pac was coming up. We was happy that we linked back up. He was in the game, I was in the game, and we was getting ready to smash.
So was it like a big eye-opening thing for Pac when he saw his brother suddenly with the video on MTV, wearing a little suit,
Yeah. I mean, I I was doing it. We were number one. That record was number one.
That was a great record. Still is.
So it was, it was inspiring. Pac was already rapping. He was already creative, but he hadn't made it yet professionally, And he was inspired. I wanted him to make it and come up. So we was grinding together, both in the Bay. Then he linked up with Digital.
Yeah.
And they took him on tour, and the rest is history.
Okay. So he hooked up with Digital Underground, and he was a backup dancer initially, right?
Yeah.
And then Same Song came out. That was the first time he was featured.
That's his first
song.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a video and everything else like that. So what kind of happened next after that came out? Because I remember he had a record deal. He had his first album come out. I forgot how much time passed between those. It was a couple of years, right?
I mean, Pac and I both were in a blessed situation.
Yeah.
By him being with Digital, he was increasing his visibility, his status on the music scene. But he wasn't fully put on until Same Song, right? Still didn't have a record deal.
Right. He was just
but
featured.
he was,
he was in a music
doing
video.
it.
Yeah.
Niggas knew him now.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, because a lot of stuff was coming through Digital, and they were being asked to do a lot of stuff. The Juice movie came. By Pac being part of Digital, and no one else knowing that he had been to School of Performing Arts in Baltimore, who had actual training. Mm-hmm. And big shout to my man Shock G, who recognized that this should happen. Pac should get that shot too.
So Shock G kind of helped him audition for the movie and stuff like that?
Well, Shock was the leader of the group.
Yeah.
So, they would discuss stuff, and Pac and Mun went out for it, and, Pac got Bishop, and it changed the game.
Juice came out before his first album?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember it was right around, you know what I mean? Like you're thinking about this.
See, people thought, people saw him in Same Song, so they assumed he had a deal, and he was with Digital, that there was a lot going on there. He was, he was about to do it, but he ain't have a deal yet.
Yeah.
He had a movie, and as soon as he got the deal, as soon as he got Juice, the record deal came.
Oh, okay, because everyone was looking at him at that point.
Yeah, and it was already in the works. He was, he was also in the movie Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd.
Right,
Digital,
right. Well, that same song was
Demi Moore.
Same song was from that soundtrack.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so Juice came out, and at that point I felt like everyone in hip hop knew who Tupac was. Because he was the star of the movie. I don't know whether he was billed as a star, but he was a star.
Oh yeah, he was a star. You remember the picture?
The poster? The poster was just Tupac and them. Everyone else is kind of far back.
Yeah, he had the ill roll. That was a good look.
So, the first album comes out, and I remember it started out a little bit slow. Like If My Homies Call came out, and it was kind of there, but it didn't really break the charts. But then Brenda's Got a Baby came out, and that was like, oh, okay. Like, oh, y'all doing this. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, this is like it was a whole different thing. You didn't hear songs like Brenda Got a Baby.
Well, his first couple of singles, Trapped was first.
Trapped, yeah. Trapped. I remember didn't really do huge. It didn't really make the big impact. But then, like when Brenda's Got a Baby, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it was a whole different side. Because I remember like Trapped and stuff like that. There was a lot of music kind of like that, at the time. But Brenda's Got a Baby was completely, I felt like, took a right to like a completely different direction, just in hip hop in general.
Yeah, because. We were raised by community organizers, and we always, looking at community issues, and that story is, it was It was based on a real story, and that's why Pac wrote it. But that's where that was coming from as well.
So there was really a girl who threw her baby in a trash can, and
we were on a PR tour, and Pac had read it in the paper, and came home and did the song. Pac saw the game, once we became of some sort of value, Pac recognized that the songs was the money. The songs was the money. I need another big one. Keep grinding, We stay in that studio, we gonna pop another one. So we stay working.
Okay. Now, at what point did Thug Life kind of form?
Thug Life, baby. Around 92, 93. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone.
Okay. Explain what that means, number one.
The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. The hate that society, gives or lets happen to its youth and its poor fucks everyone. Thug Life represent the poor and disenfranchised of all nationalities, who are oppressed by economics and power structure and racism and sexism and all the isms. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're the underdogs. We represent the underdogs.
I felt like you never really heard the word thug in a hip hop context before you guys started using it, and now it's common. But
Mm-hmm.
at the time, it was a very derogatory term. It was something like that older people would use to describe people they didn't like, who they had disdain for. In your point of view, what's a thug?
A thug is a person in rough conditions who's oppressed, is trying to survive, trying to come up without dying. There's all, the message resonates because so many people can relate to it. The haves and the have-nots. The have-nots, percentage of have-nots is huge.
Yeah.
The percentage of have-nots is way over 50%. You dig? So where I'm coming from, people, where we were coming from, people could dig it. We wanted to reach the people, our people. That was our primary concern, strictly for my niggas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thug Life was for the thugs, for the people that, society forgets about or pushes aside.
Yeah.
So that's what it was about. And at the same time, we were losing a lot of comrades. Big Kato, we lost Big Kato, and that affected Pac. Big Kato was Big Sykes' homie, and we lost him in the early years. 14-year-old kid, blues, took him out over Lolo. Because everybody's thirsty, we're thirsty.
So the Strictly album comes out, and I feel like once that and on that had I Get Around, right? So and that was Tupac's first hit record, because Brenda Got a Baby was a powerful record, but it wasn't like obviously played in the clubs and so forth. This was.
Well, Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up were...
Keep Your Head Up, right.
Yeah.
That was on the first album or second one?
Keep Your Head Up was second album.
Okay. The first album comes out, it didn't have any super huge smashes, but then the second album comes out, and then I Get Around, Keep Your Head Up. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that kind of, people knew Tupac. People who were into hip hop, knew Tupac already, but I feel like that kind of cemented him to the masses in a way.
Yeah, again, Keep Your Head Up was another song for the community, them thugs, them people living in the thug world and the thug life. You know what I mean? The thugs and the wives of thugs, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was our people, you know.
I Get Around came out though, and that was a smash though. But were you there when
True indeed, Shock G.
Yeah, Shaq G produced it.
Yeah.
Right, and he was in it also.
Yeah.
That one, you still hear that in the clubs to this day. You know.
On our way here, we just heard California Love.
Yeah,
West Side.
you still hear it all.
Thanks a lot, California Radio, for keeping the Don in circulation, heavy rotation.
Yeah.
Sure to appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that comes out, and then the Thug Life album comes out. Okay, like how long were you guys working on that Thug Life album by the time it came out?
Well, it was over the course of a year because we had like the concept first, and we were writing the Thug Code, and we were songs that we already had. We were seeing what fit the concept. With the money Pac, some of the money Pac got from Poetic Justice, we went on tour. We went on Thugs for Life tour.
Okay.
And you know, on the road we would stop and do songs at different studios while on the road. And by the time we got back to LA, you know, we had to put the finishing touches on it. He had me oversee it, pick songs. And that was a whole nother drama because, you know, that's when Time Warner was getting shut down, you know.
Cop Killer?
Ice-T, all that was going on. We fell into that. And, you know, at first, the first run of the album they were saying was too hard. So I had to tone it down.
Really?
You know? And yeah. And yeah, we was hustling. And so I was overseeing the music. If Pac couldn't be there, because he would be doing movies, like Mo would oversee the album, make sure whoopty whoop whoop boom gets done. And you know, we ended up with Volume 1.
After that, Me Against the World came out, right? And Dear Mama dropped, which I think changed changed the landscape. What happened? Were you in the studio when he did Dear Mama?
I don't know. I really don't remember.
Too many studio sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that's a good example of, for young artists coming up today, how to write a song. You know, rappers could rap, you know, they can make words sound like they rhyme or sort of rhyme, but to write a song is what they should learn how to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're not giving people record deals for freestyling.
Yeah.
They're giving songwriters deals, you know, and it's hard enough as it is right now. So, but that's a good example of a full, well-written song, you know.
Well, I remember when I first heard it, and I heard the line, you know, even as a crack fiend, mama, you always were a black queen. Like, it was like, wow, like he's actually putting that out there. Like, who would really admit publicly on a song that their mom was on crack? Like, that's just, you just never heard anything like that, you know?
Pac was the epitome of realness.
Yeah.
He was the epitome of realness, and I mean, sometimes too real for his own good, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
He was telling the truth the whole time, you know, his truth.
There was actually an incident, and a lot of people, they don't really talk about it, but there was an incident where Tupac got beat up by the police.
Mm-hmm.
Were you?
That's why, that's what I mean. We were dealing with those issues that's happening right now in 2015 and 1990.
Were you with him when that happened?
We was living together.
You were living together.
He had gone to the bank, came home all scarred up, mad. I took the pictures.
Those are your pictures. Okay.
You know?
What exactly happened in that situation? Because I remember reading a little bit about it during the time, but this was like 20 years ago. So,
he was in downtown Oakland.
Yeah.
He was just starting to get money, you know what I mean, from the movie, getting nice, decent sized checks. You know, he was happy, excited. You know, he was doing his business. So he didn't have a full-time assistant at the time, so he was going to the bank. Mm-hmm. He jaywalked. When he jaywalked, the cops, you know, jack him up and starts fucking with him and asking him his name. That's when the problems really started. It's like, you know, what's your name? What's your name? He's like, Tupac Shakur. Like, what type of name is Tupac? Your mother named you that name? And Pac flipped out. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. And they started beating him up, and, you know, so,
yeah. I remember there was something about them making fun of the name and stuff like that. I remember that was part of the...
Yeah.
So how badly did they beat him up?
Not too bad, but they scarred his face in multiple places.
Really?
Yeah.
So they were hitting him with, like, batons and stuff like that?
They were... I wasn't there. I only saw a post, but from what they said was they scraped his face on the cement.
Oh, really? Okay, so they're really trying to fuck him up.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell the story about what happened in Atlanta?
Basically, an intoxicated off-duty police officer was harassing someone.
A black kid.
Pac said something to him. Pac was in the car with the homies, like 2 cars, and they chose to come to the car and engage, and Pac wasn't the type of dude to back down, and they broke the passenger window, I think. The cop broke the passenger window, and they got shot in the ass. They ran and got shot in the ass, and
did they shoot at Tupac at all?
they had a gun. They were waving it.
Oh, okay.
They was drunk. I mean, you know.
Right.
And at the time when they broke the window, it was hard to tell where they were shooting, or it was just, you know, breaking and busting the window.
Okay. So Tupac pulled out. He shot both of them. Or one of them?
One of them, I believe.
Okay. And now, I heard that this was somewhat of a changing point, because up until that point, a black man shooting 2 white cops in the South and getting away with it was unheard of. It just never happened. And Tupac actually fought the case and ended up winning.
Yep. I mean, sometimes when you fight for what's right, sometimes the outcome is what you want. It's not always, but they had a stolen weapon from an evidence room.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Running around Atlanta drunk, fucking with people. Get what you get.
So that's how he won the case. He proved that they were drunk, the weapon was stolen. Just the whole, the typical dirty cop shit.
Yeah, and people act like oh, you're just exaggerating. Oh, you guys just exaggerating. You know, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Y'all know, you know what I mean? It's like what I said earlier. You know, we in the thug life, we be knowing the truth. You know, the law enforcement who you know leads the narrative. When they're lying, what are you left with?
Yeah.
Who's going to believe you? You know what I mean? You don't get the benefit of that. We don't get the benefit of that, especially like this. Shit.
How many years was Pac facing had he gotten convicted for that?
I don't know. A lot.
A lot.
a lot.
Double digits.
Yeah, man. But God don't like ugly.
you know, because a lot of people talk about it, a lot of people talk about the revolutionary shit, you know, but when it comes down to it, they back away.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They back away.
Yeah.
And Pac, in this particular case, literally pulled out a gun and was really about it.
As the legend goes. As the legend goes.
As the legend goes. Mm-hmm. So, Me Against the World comes out. Dear Mama drops. Pac ends up going to jail. Like right when that album dropped. Because I remember he wasn't in the video for Dear Mama.
Yeah, during that, he was in jail for a few of the Thug Life videos as well. That was a period where he was locked up. But, you know, we were still pushing forward, shooting around him, you know, taking new treatments, video treatments to see what would work. Yeah. And, you know, the show must go on. Yeah. So, you know, I was trying to keep it moving on the creative side, keep things going until he got out.
Okay. Did you talk to him a lot while he was locked up?
Yeah.
Okay. I had heard that the cops were, well, the COs were really fucking with him in jail.
Yeah, it was, the COs was fucking with him, and they, you know, were jealous and wanted to pluck his nerves, make him go off, on top of, you know, implants in the prison to get information.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, there is like a bond between COs and police officers. Mm-hmm. So someone who's in jail who shot police officers, mm-hmm. It's almost like a grudge type of thing that was happening.
The gang in blue. He was against the gang in blue.
The gang in blue. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I had heard that they would make him do multiple strip searches and all types of extra shit. And
there's a song by the legendary rap group NWA called "Fuck the Police." Now, we didn't record that song, but that song might as well have been ours too, for real, or Pac's too, because they knew what was up. They knew what was up with us.
What I didn't quite understand was when Pac was locked up, he wasn't able to post bail himself, right?
That's not exactly right. Well, go ahead.
Well, you tell me then.
He was just looking for the right deal to make to get out.
Okay. And Suge Knight came in and posted his bail. Mm-hmm. Was it just Suge by himself, or was it Suge and Interscope, or, you know, because at the time, when Pac went in, he was signed to Interscope. When he came out, he was signed to Death Row. Death Row was distributed by Interscope, so it's not like it was a totally different thing, but it was technically now a different label. Do you know what happened during that time?
They just took action first. They just took action.
Okay.
You know, when you're dealing with corporations and corporate attorneys and lawyers and the justice system, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of, you know, the road took action.
Okay. So
you
Death
know,
Row.
talk is cheap when, you know, and like you just said, Pac was going through a lot of shit in jail. He was ready to get out.
Okay. So Death Row put up the money for him to get out. He was now signed under Death Row. Now, what happened with Thug Life during the time? Because at one point, it's like I stopped hearing Thug Life and I started hearing Outlaws.
Yeah.
So explain that.
Well, it was a time of transition. You know, our clique was huge. You know, Pac was the king of rap. His clique was huge. It was sort of like a changing of the guards or the passing of the baton. You know, Outlaws is built off Thug Life shoulders. Yeah. You dig? Please believe it. So it was, you know, a few of us left from the Thug Life clique. You know, Mac and Rated had gone to pursue other things, and Pac and Stretch had a falling out, so it was just me and Syke and Pac representing the Thug Life banner. But we had the Young Thugs. First they were the Young Thugs, and it was Dramacidal. They had a whole bunch of different names, but what made sense to Pac,
they're actually called the Young Thugs?
at one point, yeah.
Which is kind of, ironic, because now there's a rapper named Young Thug.
Yeah. But what made sense to Pac was to start Outlaw Immortals. Outlaw Immortals, everybody could be under the banner, including us.
Okay, so you were an outlaw as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Co-mania.
So you guys are now, so Tupac is now under death row. I remember when California Love came out, because there's always this thing, I feel, in whatever profession, someone go to jail, and at that point you figure they're done. They're gonna come out different. They're not gonna be able to have them hit records. They don't have whatever edge they had. But Pac came out and California Love came out, and it was like, forget about it. Like,
let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. That time, that period, was some of the best times in our lives, because everybody would, Pac fans, people that love Pac, knew what he was going through, was sympathetic, was, damn, man, I hope Pac all right. I'm like, when Pac gonna come out with some new music? What's up, my nigga? Woo, woo. Yeah. He ain't even in his own videos. When our nigga coming back? And then it was like, damn, is he gonna go to New York? He gonna go to Baltimore somewhere? Oh, he gonna go back to Oakland and shit. Where Pac gonna go, man? Where he gonna be at, nigga? We going. Nigga.
Yeah.
Everybody heard he was coming back to L.A. and everybody was happy, geeked up, and then Pac gave him California Love back.
Yeah. And
then it dropped. Oh my God.
Right.
That and Ambitions as a Rider.
Yeah.
Homie Daz.
Yeah.
Them two songs was all over LA constantly, and everybody was happy. Everybody was bumping it loud. Everybody was, it was a good feeling. It was a good feeling because Pac loved LA and LA loved him back. See, what people forget is that, Pac was a young nigga from the hood. So was I. So by the time we got to LA, because we had been working on our careers in the Bay primarily.
Yeah.
Primarily.
Yeah, I never really heard of Tupac in LA much. Like it was never on my radar before Death Row.
But we were coming down here to work on films. We worked, I was when Pac did movies, most of the time was just he and I. Okay. Well, on Poetic Justice, I was his personal assistant and all that. So we was like, we like 20-something. We in LA on Sunset Boulevard having money, smoking big. We doing it. It was like, it was a time of a lifetime. So we fell in love with it. Nigga, palm trees. Nigga, you palm trees, yo. It was like, we appreciate it. I don't know.
Yeah. And even, the song even starts off, with Pac's line was, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Mm-hmm. As soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing Hoochie screaming. And it was like, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Like, that was exactly what happened. Like, so what was it like being on death row? Because you guys were
I wasn't on death row.
Well, no, you weren't on death row, but you were with Pac.
Yeah.
And Pac was on death row.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys were on records. That's coming out on death row and so forth. So even though you weren't signed, you were still.
Yeah, I was around him a little bit up there. I was with him through the recording of All Eyes on Me primarily. While we recorded all that album, cause all the homies was coming through. Everybody was coming through Can-Am to holler at Pac. You know what I mean? Rapping Forte and everybody, Drew Down, all the homies from the Bay was coming down, and it was just a good time. Everybody was welcoming them home, smoking them out, getting them twisted, and making music. That was, it was a time of a lifetime.
I heard he got out of jail and went straight to the studio. Was it the same night?
Yeah.
And I really want to kind of touch on this for a second because not a lot of human beings would get out of prison and the first thing they do is go to the studio. It's like you would want to go home, sleep in a bed, take a week off, get some girls. Like going straight to the studio out of prison, I think really just kind of shows the type of person that we're talking about.
Well, see, don't forget that you could accomplish all of these tasks at the studio. if you've been around, you know, a lot of things go down at the studio.
Right.
But Pac is he had to express himself. That was key. That was his therapy, was expressing himself, writing them songs. I mean, you know, everybody looks at it like it's his work ethic, which it is too, but it was his therapy as well.
What was Tupac's relationship with Biggie originally, you know, in terms of, you know, what you saw?
I knew Biggie. Biggie was the homie.
Yeah.
Biggie was the homie for a period of time. He was, when they kind of met, Pac was full-fledged celebrity.
Yeah.
Biggie was on the come up. But we liked his shit. You know, party and bullshit, Pac and I loved that shit. And we would, you know, we wanted to put him down with what was going on with Thug Life. You know, Brooklyn, LA, just imagine, you know, Pac was a, you know.
So he actually wanted Biggie to be part of Thug Life?
He wanted to, yeah, be a part of the concept. That's why, you know, there's Running from the Police. There's a few songs that we did get to actually do. You know, it's not bullshit. Because dudes that we fuck with in New York, you know, I'm from Queens and, you know, we were born in New York because connected to Big Stretch. You know, Big Stretch and Biggie was cool too. You know, he wasn't tripping. And then, you know.
The situation at Quad happened.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I understand, Pac was hurt because Biggie just kind of left the situation alone. He didn't offer any type of help or anything else like that during that time.
Well, Vlad, you know, I can't talk about everything I know.
Fair enough.
But I will tell you, it's not that simple. But Pac was extra sensitive considering what had just happened to him. So when, you know, you just get shot, you're not trying to hear no you know.
Politically correct.
Yeah, you're not trying to be all politically correct and, you know what you know, and you're going to go from there. And he knew what he did know, and the rest he was trying to figure out.
Okay. And at that point, you know, the falling out happened. Knowing Biggie and knowing Pac extremely well, do you think that had they lived eventually, it would have been worked out?
Absolutely, absolutely. A little off subject, but back on subject.
Yeah.
There was a Tupac exhibit, All Eyes on Me exhibit for Pac at the Grammy Museum, and back in February, and Money B said something that is so true. Money B from Digital, he said, if you didn't fight with Pac, you didn't know him that well. If you didn't have an argument or fight with Pac, you ain't really know Pac that well.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So considering who Biggie was, eventually, I think they would have been cool. You know, it's way totally different situations, but Pac had his issues with Quincy Jones.
I know at one point him and Quincy worked it out.
Yeah,
Quincy approached him, I guess, in a restaurant and basically made him talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's finesse. Everybody don't got it.
What happened in Vegas? Were you actually with Tupac when that happened?
No.
Okay.
Pac and I went to the Bo Holyfield fight with him and them dudes, but that fight I wasn't at.
Okay.
My daughter was just born and I was, you know, being daddy.
Yeah.
But I went out there the next day. I mean, basically, I heard it happened that night. That next day, I went out there.
Was Pac at all conscious at all when you got out there?
Yeah, he was conscious. He had tubes and shit all in his mouth, but his eyes was open, and he was looking at me. And me and my sister went in to see him, and he was trying to tell me something. He was shaking the bed. He was, all the bullets in him. He was still shaking the bed, and he wanted to tell me something, but he couldn't. And I was just trying to tell him to chill, just get better. We gon', you know what I'm saying? We're gonna handle it, but he didn't ever get out the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I heard. I mean, everyone was crying during this time. I mean, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, me and Brother Watani, Storm, female Storm, and some others, we were guarding the hospital out there because they had Pac on the first floor, and we could not figure out why the fuck they're gonna. It was just had an assassination attempt, and they're gonna put him on the first floor of the hospital, which made no sense. Yeah, I mean, and I wanted to speak on that because it's, people out there doing projects and shit, talking about they was there and they watched Pac in his last 7 days and they did this and then it ain't all exactly true. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
But
so who was actually there when you were there?
Brother Watani, Storm, me, Yaki Gaddafi, rest in peace, outlaw immortal.
Was Suge there?
I didn't see him.
Okay.
I mean, he got there later, but not
at the time.
Different day.
Okay. And you guys actually were literally protecting him, like outside of his actual room and so forth?
And we surrounded the hospital.
Wow.
And we took, security points.
So it was like a military operation almost. Yeah.
Yep.
Why do you feel in a place like Las Vegas, where there's millions of cameras and millions of witnesses and, there's a huge fight and there's, densely populated, and someone was able to shoot up a car with 2 celebrities in it and no one knows what happened? No one gets arrested, no one gets charged.
It's Las Vegas, and it's a lot of power. All those parties involved, that's a lot of power. And power corrupts. Not everybody, but power corrupts. And this, there's a lot of corrupt shit going on. And the story is too thick and intricate and dark to unravel. Maybe someday, but people will be amazed.
Yeah. Did you hear about all the Jimmy Henchman stuff that came out not too long ago about the guy who, I guess, shot Pac at Quad Studio and blamed it on Jimmy and everything else like that?
No tut. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't new to me, but yeah.
So you guys already knew all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was no surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we were warrior kings. So we dealing with we made it to a level where we were dealing with major shit on every level. From major shit in the street, major shit in business. You know what I mean? We were top of the food chain,
Yeah. You look at a lot of artists out there who are no longer around. But when you travel around the world, when you go to Brazil, when you go to Africa, you still see these Tupac images. I almost feel like you see them as much as Bob Marley images. And when you look at those two people, the one thing they have in common is the social message and their fight against how the world is, and them feeling like they can make the world better, you know. And this is, you know, when you always hear the Biggie Tupac argument, like who was the best, you know, if you look outside the music a little bit, I feel like the reason why Tupac usually gets picked was because of that.
Not solely. I mean,
they both had a lot of hit records, but Biggie never spoke for the people, is what I'm saying.
Okay, Vlad, check it. I love Biggie because I knew him. We were down with each other, but yeah. Biggie's body of work does not compare to Pac's body of work. Period.
Pac had
no matter how much you love him,
yeah.
he just didn't live long enough to do as much as Pac. So they like two.
I see what you're saying.
Biggie's like the little homie. That's how we see him. He was like the little homie coming up.
Not only was Pac around longer, but Pac recorded like a maniac, from what I understand. Like Pac was.
And he was a movie star. Hello. I mean,
and that.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I heard a rumor. You could tell me whether this is true or not. I had heard that Tupac was actually cast for the role that Will Smith got in Independence Day.
I think he might have read or something for it. Yeah, there was some talk.
Okay, but it wasn't signed on or anything like that.
It wasn't finalized.
What's it like to be driving to this interview and hear Tupac songs on the radio still, and go around and see everyone still mentioning him, and it's almost like he never left. It's like he's still here.
It makes it easier to deal with him not being here. Because you smile because he did everything he said he was going to do.
And then some.
Yeah. He did every motherfucking thing he said he was going to do, you know, and it's just a shame we lost him so early. But I think in the spiritual realm, his inner clock, he knew he was going to go early.
I'd heard that. I'd heard that before.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd heard that he had this sort of drive in the studio where, like, I got to hurry up and get these songs out because I don't have a lot of time. I got to hurry up. Like, you know, I heard he would get angry at, like, producers and other rappers if they took too long.
Yep.
Because he had this urgency about him.
Yep, he had to express himself. He had to get it out. He had to get it out. Yep, that's real. That's true.
That's true. Yeah. Because some people told me like they didn't really see that, but hearing it from you really confirms that.
Yeah. If you listen through his music, you'll see, through his albums, you'll see there's a constant death chant. It's always talking about death. Don't forget you could die, nigga. You could die, I could die, we could die, I'ma die. Nigga die, nigga, you wanna die? Die. Nigga die, death, nigga die. You know what I mean? And I think that's because Pac would have dreams too. He would, you know, he would wake up screaming and shit. And
really? So he felt he was gonna die soon.
Yeah. He didn't think he was gonna make it. I mean, a lot of youth at that time as well felt the same way, that we didn't feel we was gonna make it to 21. 23, we didn't, you know. He didn't think he was going to make it to 21.
And he died, how old was he when he died?
25.
25. I think of all the great years I've had since 25.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's...
That's what I'm saying. Our ride, we it's like we lived a lifetime in that, because we had a good 6-year ride, he and I.
Yeah.
Basically from 90 to 96, smashing, getting it in. And I'm proud of what we accomplished at the same time. Was it all worth it?
You said you were with him during all of his movies, right?
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them. Well,
Juice, Poetic Justice, Bullet, Gridlock.
What happened? I had heard a story about Poetic Justice that Janet didn't want to do like a love scene with Pac unless he got like a AIDS test or something.
It wasn't a love scene. It was a kiss.
A kiss, right?
It was a kiss, and the deal was Janet had previously shot a scene with Q-Tip. Q-Tip is in that in
right,
Poetic
the very
too.
beginning.
And she got sick. She got a cold, some shit. Not that it was Q-Tip's fault, but she got a cold.
Yeah.
And it was coming up in the script time for Pac to kiss her. And so they approached Pac with, well, feeling so okay, we're gonna need you to take a test. I was like, he's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, Pac was like, am I gonna get to hit it? I get to hit it too? Cool, I'll take the test right now if I get to hit it. So it's like, and Pac was feeling some type of way. It was like, Q-Tip just kissed her. He ain't take a fucking test. Why the fuck I gotta take the damn AIDS test or whatever? It was like, he felt some type of way. He got at John Singleton real tough, and they worked it out. But yeah, that did happen.
I interviewed Sway a long time ago. It was for this Tupac. Are you familiar with Tupac Rap Phenomenon, the mixtape?
I think so. Yeah.
Where we got a bunch of people on it. We got like Alicia Keys and Busta Rhymes and everything else like that. Anyways, we were working on that, and Sway was saying how I guess he went to go interview Tupac on the set of Poetic Justice, and he just said that when he goes into his trailer, it was just like filled with condom wrappers, like everywhere the eye could see. Like,
well, he was safe.
Right.
Yeah.
He's wrapping it up. Do you think that was
safe sex?
Was that part of the whole Janet Jackson thing of, I wanted to take a test before kissing me? You think because she was seeing all this?
No, but Pac did have a reputation of, the ladies loving him.
Yeah.
He was a black James Dean.
Yeah. Well, what?
Shit.
What happened with him and Madonna?
Madonna's the homie.
Okay.
We were doing press for Above the Rim, and I think we were in New York, and just like them, I was sitting there while Pac was doing the interview, because Pac and then Marlon, they did together, and then they were talking to Pac, and then Madonna came, sat down right next to me. When does he finish? I'm like,
let's just
little while.
Let's just rewind for a second. Madonna was like the biggest star in the world at the time. Yeah. She was like Rihanna on steroids.
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, Rihanna sat next to you and started stressing you over.
the Rihanna of the time, basically.
Rihanna of the time, exactly.
Yeah, Madonna. Madonna was still Madonna. People, they had love for her, respected her, and shit, it's Madonna.
Right.
And I think she gave me a note to give to him.
Okay.
For real.
Did you read the note?
No. I was just happy that she was giving him a note.
I would have read the note.
And everybody was there. My homies was there, so I went over, gave it to him, and he was like, yeah, he was about the business, and so then they linked up, and then I would take him to our house and shit, and then when we got back to LA, and They were a thing for a minute.
They were a thing for a minute. Why did it never spill into the public until like? Because Madonna talked about it recently. I think this year, back in March.
Yeah, she the homie. She, you know why? Because both of them are off the motherfucking chain.
Yeah.
Pac and her were off the chain. It was too much. It was too much. It was just too much. It was like, so.
Were they like in a real relationship, or were they just fucking?
You have to ask her.
Okay.
But this is Pac you talking about. This is Madonna you talking about. So,
So she would come over to the house while you were there.
No, I would take Pac to her crib.
To her crib. Oh, okay.
Or for him to catch the private jet with her.
Oh, they were taking private jets together.
Yeah.
They're on that level.
It's
Okay.
Madonna.
It's Madonna, right?
Yeah.
You're not taking a taxi.
Yeah, she was shit. Back then she was $100+ mil back then too. 95.
Yeah, she was 100 mil back then, 100+ mil back then. Okay, do you know why they had a falling out eventually, or was it just?
Nah, I just think that they were kicking it. You know what I mean? I don't think it was super serious, going to get married or some shit. They were just, how those entertainment relationships go.
Yeah.
But they both respected each other, so it ended cool. He never talked shit about her, not to me.
Yeah.
She never talked shit about him.
What happened with Pac and the Hughes brothers?
Oh, the Hughes brothers. We had to talk about them. I mean, they kind of got too big for their britches, and sort of disrespected Pac, and Pac was not having it at all.
Disrespected him how? Because he was supposed to be in a movie.
Okay. Take it back a little further. Brenda's got a baby.
Yeah.
Pac let the Hughes brothers direct that video.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pac put them on. He helped put them on in the game. That was their first big break. One of their first big breaks.
Great video, by the way.
Yeah, no one seems to know. They actually in the video. You can see them in the video at the end.
Really? Okay.
So that was done. They knew Pac was blowing up as an actor, and it was like, "Yo, Pac, I want you to be in this movie." He's like, "All right, I'm down, but I got to do this other shit first. I got to do Poetic Justice first, and then I'm at you." He did Poetic Justice, and he got at him. But when he got back at him, what movie was that? That was Menace II Society. They were acting all Hollywood and fly, and
So Tupac was supposed to be Menace.
He was supposed to be in that movie, yeah.
Who's he supposed to be? O-Dog?
Believe it or not, the Muslim character.
Oh.
The righteous brother, Sharif, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know something, and listen, no offense to the dude that played that, but that was definitely not a standout character in that movie.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers O-Dog.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers who's the main dude?
I forgot his name.
Right. People even remember, you know what fucked up, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
I just ran into him recently. That was the first thing I said. But yeah, the Muslim character didn't really stand out.
Yeah, but that wasn't even the issue. That wasn't the problem. It was a rehearsal, because I drove Pac to the rehearsal the day that this all went down with, it all started with them. It was they was having rehearsal for the film, and they wanted all the actors there, and I brought Pac there, so I knew we wasn't that late. Just how you were like 15, 20 minutes late. It was like that. It
Like
was
that.
shit. You know what I mean? And they try to act all fly with Pac when he got in rehearsal. Like, we need you to read. Why ain't you here on time? And we're just talking shit. He's like, hold on, homie. I just finished doing a movie with Janet Jackson, bro. I wasn't in there. I was outside when it happened. Because I was just getting to the spots, letting them do, he was off, boom, boom, boom. But that's what he told me was going down in there. They was starting to get fly. They was getting all slick and talking shit. I'm like, okay. Then Pac caught him at Spice One's video shoot.
Okay, wait. So was Pac still in the movie at that point? So when he got
said,
there
fuck
late.
that movie.
Oh, okay. So after that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they started popping shit. They think, the Hughes brothers and Pac started arguing.
Right, and this was their first movie, right? Menace Society was their first movie.
I think so, yeah. It's like, and Pac was like, you should be more grateful,
that I'm here.
Yeah, man. And they wouldn't, they got all arrogant and shit. And like, oh yeah? So
he said, fuck that movie.
They were directing the homie Spice One's video. Pac's in the video. And got at him. The homies got at him.
Were you there?
I wasn't there then, but I was there in court at the courthouse when we were going to court. And,
okay, so from my understanding,
I was gonna fuck him up in the courthouse.
Okay, wait. So I understand that he ran up on him and punched one of them in the face.
Yeah.
The other one ran off.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So then
he definitely ran off. Allegedly, that Pac punched him in the face. I don't know where he punched him. I know they got punched several times, and one of them ran.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, and they pressed charges.
Yeah.
Criminal or civil?
Criminal
charges. So they try to get him locked up over that.
Yeah. Yo, man. Just picture this. We at downtown LA at the courthouse. I forgot what happened in court, but all of us were in court. We got Pac had Johnny Cochran represent him.
So he actually had Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. And then the fucking Hughes brothers come out, and we all at the elevator. We all at the elevator. And Pac started, let him have it. You bitch ass motherfuckers. And Johnny's losing it like, Pac, you gotta calm down, man. You gotta calm down, man. Man, fuck these bitch ass motherfuckers. Nigga, it's thug life. You gonna whip your ass again right here, right now. Oh, man. It's yeah. I mean, come on, man. Pac gave you y'all shot. Y'all blew up off of that. Off of Brenda's Got a Baby alone. Get a man his respect. That's all it would have took. And they wanted to act fly, so.
Okay. So what happened in the courtroom?
I think Pac lost against him. He lost that case.
So
got an assault charge or some shit. Thanks to the Hughes brothers. Fuck them in their movies.
So did he get locked up over that, or that was just
I don't recall, man. Yo, there was a lot of time spent in court and in jail. So I don't remember exactly how that one went down. But I do believe he lost, and he did time in L.A. County, but I think that was for gun charge. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on.
How different do you think it would be right now if Pac was still here?
How different would Pac be?
No, how different would the world be? Because, Pac was political. You see what I'm saying? Like, could Pac have run for president? Or I don't know if he was even interested in that type of thing, but I'm saying Pac had political power. He had the ability to tell people to fuck with something or not to fuck with something. Mm-hmm. Imagine Tupac, endorsing Barack Obama. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or,
I mean, Pac was, I do believe that he would have been more involved in law, dealing with all the cases that he dealt with over that time. He was learning a lot about the law and how to fight it. And I think that would have been one of the reasons he might have gone that way. But his head would be exploding right now. Pac's head would be exploding right now. All these murders of these young black males across the country, that's the shit we was talking about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The same exact shit. We was talking about that.
Well,
and it's still happening now. And it's, I don't know.
Well, here's my theory about this, and you could tell me whether you agree or disagree. I feel that the police killing people has not increased at all recently. I think what's happening now has been happening the whole time. Mm-hmm. The only difference is there's always been a limited amount of media that comes out because there's only been a few media outlets. With social media, yeah, and with camera phones and video phones,
technology as a whole, yeah,
has changed the visibility of what's been happening the whole time. I honestly don't think that cops are killing black kids anymore now. I think it's been happening 10, 20, 30 years, 50 years, whatever. Same shit.
Well, I mean, like I said, the thug life knows, yeah, but they don't even keep fucking records. They don't even care enough to keep records. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Black Lives Matter, I Can't Breathe, all that shit. Yes. You know? And they better be careful. You know? They better be careful, yo. It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke.
There's always been this interesting rumor that Tupac is still alive and living in Cuba. Have you heard this before?
Yes, I've heard it before.
There was,
and I don't mind it. You know why? Because Pac is a legend.
Yeah.
And they talk about all legends like that.
Yeah.
He's in good company. I don't
Presley,
mind.
all them dudes. Yeah.
Exactly. Elvis, Bob, he's in that category. I think because Pac was getting wiser and he was starting to think about politics, I think he was more dangerous to the powers that be. Because it's, that's what Malcolm X had. Malcolm X had the street, and he had something else that can help lead the people. And Pac had a couple of tools that he could use to lead the people, and that's what was happening. And if he decided, he was getting to that point to take it in another direction, but we lost him.
I remember there was this interview with Tretch that, like, after the camera kind of panned down, you hear him say, like, last time I seen him was in Cuba. Like, you ever see that?
No. Tretch is the homie. Big shout out to my nigga Tretch.
Yeah. Well, when I interviewed him,
Don.
I interviewed him about that, and he said,
I'm loyal. If I know anything, won't nobody else know. If he wanted to be seen, or if he wanted people not to think he was here, I'm rolling with him in whatever he wanted to do.
That was his official statement when it came to all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Pac is our John Henry.
Yeah.
I don't know if people remember the books or the folktale. Is our black hero. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna punk out. We don't have a lot of those in the in the landscape right now. It's gonna fight hard. People they'll get mad at me, but I think both are necessary. I think peaceful protest is necessary, and I think the riots are necessary. The peaceful protests nothing will happen with the peaceful protests unless the niggas start acting up. When them niggas start acting up, please bring back the peaceful protests. You know what I'm saying? And, that's the side we coming from. Got to set some shit off sometime.
So you think if Pac was live, he'd be right there in Baltimore, right there in the middle of it?
Yeah. Pac would have been organizing a state march all across the country or some shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, why do you think you don't have any artists today that are willing to do that? Because, for example, if you remember, Bob Marley got shot trying to unify the political parties in Jamaica. Yep. And did a concert like a few days later. Mm-hmm. After all that. You don't see artists that actually put their neck on the line anymore. You see, Kanye touches on it a little bit. J. Cole touches on it somewhat, but no one's actually walking the walk. Everyone's
pushing the line. Ain't nobody pushing the line.
No one pushing the line. Yeah. Exactly. Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, Oh, Lupe.
Lupe Fiasco.
Lupe Fiasco. Yeah. He did his protest in his way with doing that song over and over and over while performing in D.C. He does his Talib Kweli. There's a few brothers out there, but you know, you can't fault them. They not Pac. You know, they doing their thing their way. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to set it off. Sometimes you got to set it off. Sometimes you got to take a risk, take a gamble. You know.
Yep.
You know, and us, for me and my brother to even be in this fucking game, it was a risk that nobody thinks about. You know, our father was on FBI's 10 Most Wanted. He's in prison, and our auntie is considered the top female fugitive of all times or some shit.
Terrorist.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And we out here, so we had to do something to address the community so they know where we coming from.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, you know, people in the game didn't have as deep as history as us, and it's no fault of theirs, but you know, these are the cards we were dealt.
All right. That's what it is. I think we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming in, man, and sharing.
West, y'all. Big shout, Southside Jamaica, Queens, Vlad TV, all the homeboys in LA, New York, be more. I can't breathe. Ohio, hold it down, y'all. Be careful, be safe. Keep smashing. I'm out.
I've kissed him, and he's a good kisser, and that's all I'm gonna say for that.
Yeah, he's a good kisser.
He's an excellent kisser, probably one of the best I've ever had.
I'm not gonna lie, man. To be non-biased. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's been like 4 or 5 days, man. It's like, I don't know. It might be a little too late. I don't know, man. It depends on how hard he come. He gotta come with some ether type shit, man.